WZR Radio starts now. You can join us in the live chat room at WZROnline.com/chat or call into the show at 518-712-3070. Now, here are your hosts, Ryan Clark and Matt Boone.
What the fuck? Hello. How we doing? We're here. What's going on?
Now I'm unmuted. Whatever you're hearing ain't me, man. It's not me.
Vendetta. How about a little warning before you just say go? I mean, you called up and he says go. No warning, no theme, no nothing.
Really?
Right now, go. He says.
Go. Start talking. Hey, go.
You just called me 20 seconds ago.
I know. I was the one who called. I remember.
What's going on, man?
A little bit of this, a little bit of that. How you doing? You sound a little, what do they say, butthurt?
Well, let's, Vendetta, for future reference, when we get on here, how about, you say, I'm going to hit the theme right now, and then I'll tell you when to go, instead of go now. And
you were talking about Howard Stern before we started. Look at everybody's talking about me in there. Jesus Christ. Anyways, you were talking about Howard Stern before we started, and what they do now on Howard TV is, all right, this chat's distracting me. Wow, they're all talking about me. Jesus Christ. All right, but Howard TV does this new thing now where, like, in between commercial breaks, like when they have a guest in or something, they'll show the producer, Baba Booey, prepping Howard for the guest, like on camera, off air, but on camera.
Right.
And Fred, the sound effects guy in the background, says, 2 minutes, 1 minute, 30 seconds, and like he knows when he's going on air. It's not a surprise, because he's got to prepare. The motherfucker's he's got to be ready. It's a performance. We're doing a performance right now. You can't just throw us on and say go. You got to know when you're going on so you can be ready and do what you're trying to do performance-wise.
It's live radio, baby dolls. You know what I'm saying?
There's no safety net. Yeah.
There's no safety net. Look, check it out. 3, 2, 1. How's it going, everybody? And welcome to the January 17th, 2012 edition of WZR Radio here on WZROnline.com. I'm Ryan Clark. He's Matt Boone. And we're going to be here for the next 2 hours talking pro wrestling. We got a lot to talk about tonight. We got Evan Bourne. Big news. Evan Bourne earlier this morning. Good thing I woke up early this morning because that came out at about 9 or 10 o'clock. So we're going to talk about that. And then something I put up on my Facebook page really got people riled up, and I want to bring it up on WZR Radio. Chris Benoit, they're about to make a biopic involving him, right?
You haven't introduced me yet, bro. I'm not going to say a word until I'm introduced. You restarted the show.
Oh, you're right. We're going to talk a little bit about Chris Benoit and what I said on Facebook that got people all upset, man. It was kind of crazy. A good debate that got going. So, a lot to talk about. Matt Boone, what's going on, man?
Hey now, it's good to be here. I'm feeling good. Let's do a radio show. How about that?
Let's do a little radio show, man. You heard about Evan Bourne, right?
Got suspended for a second wellness violation, correct?
He just returned like 2 weeks ago.
I know. They kept the titles on him while he was suspended, right? Because they figured he'd come back and they would just continue, and then he did it again.
They would continue. I knew something was up, man.
They switched him at the house show, so they knew before they announced it, right?
Well, you knew on Sunday night that, I mean, very rarely do you do a title change at a house show. Do
you remember the last time the world title changed hands at a house show? Do you remember who it was and who he beat?
Oh my God, it must more than 10 years ago, right?
About 15 years ago. Attitude Era. Well, right before the Attitude. No. Like when we were kids.
I don't know, Rock Austin, somebody like that.
No, before all that shit. I'll give you a hint. He just came back to WWE about a year ago. The chat room's going to end up spoiling it. Don't look at the chat.
Well, I see Bob.
Yeah, they already spoiled it. God damn it.
All right, yeah. You know what? Bob Backlund.
Well, for those who aren't in the chat room, it was Diesel. He beat Bob Backlund in like 9 seconds with a power bomb and took the title in Madison Square Garden. But it was a house show.
Well, there used to be an angle where you would walk into the arena and Bob Backlund would be out there and he was trying something political. You know what I mean, dude? He would try to have people, name every president or something like that. I think he still does it to this day, man. Where if somebody approaches him and says, "Can I get an autograph?" He says, "I'll give you an autograph, but you got to name all."
He makes them earn it. Like in well, I think was he in TNA for a little while?
Backlund? No, I don't think so.
I think he was during like the weekly pay-per-views, because I remember this clip coming online where he's like walking around the Orlando theme park where they used to shoot the TV shows. And yeah, see, everybody in the chat agrees with me. You're wrong, I'm right. Can you admit that you were wrong real quick before I continue the story?
I can admit that I'm wrong, dude, but you're going back to the Wednesday night pay-per-views for what? That was 8 years
That's when I was a fan of TNA. Anyways, yeah, he was walking around like the theme park and like he seemed like a fucking like a crazy person, bro. Like he really seemed like a lunatic.
He is, man. A lot of people say he is, man, where the dude will not sign an autograph unless you name the presidents or name something, something political.
Here's the weird dichotomy of that. He's stuck in his gimmick, but his gimmick back in the day was that he didn't have a gimmick.
The weird what?
I said the weird dichotomy.
Dichotomy?
Dichotomy. You never heard that word?
I've never heard that word.
I'm drunk and it's a word. I'm telling you something. Ask the chat room. They're backing me up great tonight. But anyways, yeah, he's stuck in his gimmick, but his gimmick when he really was big was that he didn't have a gimmick. He was the All-American amateur wrestler, But in his second career in WWE, he was like the psycho guy. He would do the chicken wing and go nuts and all this and that.
Well, color me dichotomy.
Well, color you dyke. You said dyke.
Oh, man. So, we're going to talk Evan Bourne, like I said. We'll get into that. And, we don't know right now what he failed for, whether it be pot, synthetic marijuana, pills, coke. We don't know.
Steroids. Could be
anything. And he came out and sent one tweet out earlier today, and that's all. I mean, that's the last we've heard from him. So we don't know anything more other than what was revealed this morning on WZROnline.com. And big UFC news, man. Actually, 3 big stories.
There's a couple of them today, and somebody who covers UFC for a living didn't write any of them.
You know what, dude? Let me tell you something. Let me tell the people something. Matt Boone, okay, for those that don't, Matt Boone works on a pro wrestling website, blah, 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 all right? He works for me, he does my galleries and some other stuff for me, right? And he's got a third job, an MMA website, MMAnews.com.
Yes.
It used to be a beast, all right? So I went to MMA News to see if Boone had anything up on, number one, there is random drug testing that is going to take place whether you have a fight or don't have a fight, I believe. It's just going to be random testing. Number 2...
That's when you get signed to the company. They're going to test you before you get signed.
Number 2... all right. Number 2, there is UFC 145. And that was canceled.
Oh, I wasn't even thinking of that one. I was thinking of King Mo. I thought that was going to be... And then I know the obvious big one, but...
Well, yeah, you're right. There's 4 stories with King Mo failed a steroids test, and then we had the big one.
Montreal was canceled. King Mo. What was the first one you said? Oh, when you get signed, you got to get drug tested. And then the major one was
Chael Sonnen is now going to fight Michael Bisping as
Chael Sonnen.
That's what I said. What did I say?
I think you said Chael Sonnen.
Chael Sonnen.
No, Chael. Cha.
The fuck out of here, dude. Anyways.
There's a difference, bro.
Anyways, so he's going to fight, he was supposed to fight Mark Muniz, and...
said that wrong, too. Mark Munoz.
Muniz. It's the New York accent. Give me a break, dude. Cut me some slack.
Anyway, you blame that accent on a lot, but keep going.
Fuck out of here, dude. Anyways, the moral of the story is MMAnews.com fucking blows dick, dude. It's horrible. It's called...
Did you check it 10 minutes after you IM'd me, by the way?
No, I went to MMAscoops.com because it's 100 times better than that, whatever I was there today. It was horrible.
Oh, okay. We'll check it now because it's all up.
Oh, it's all updated now? Well, thank God for Clark. Telling it like it is. I yelled at him. I said, Boom, come on, bro. You know what I'm saying? Anyway.
That's not my job. You don't even know what you're talking about. It's not my job to put the news up.
Who's in charge over there?
I'm in charge, but I've got people that work for me. They do the news. They haven't been on their so I jumped on them, and the second I jumped on them, they got everything up.
Oh, is that how it works? But you needed advice from Clark to say, my site sucks now, dude.
I usually get to the site about 6 or 7 on radio nights. Sometimes I don't really even get a chance to get to it until after the show. This radio fucks me up more than you realize. I've got 4 jobs, not 3.
Oh, wow.
I'm not crying. You brought it up.
Get out of here. Anyways, MMAscoops.com. Check it out.
And also MMAnews.com. Check it out.
Yeah, if you want, never mind. Get to the live chat room, WZROnline.com/chat. Once again, WZROnline.com/chat. What's the deal with the sounds tonight, man?
The what tonight?
The sounds.
The sounds. I don't know. I'm not listening to the show. I'm doing the show. Well, what's the chat room say of the sounds?
They say it's not good. It doesn't sound very good. I don't know what the deal is.
I don't know. I'm reading the chat. I didn't see anything where it said that.
This is why, man, when I contacted the dead, I said, are you sure, bro? I hear weird sounds. No. Everything's all right, dude. Everything's good. Blah, 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 blah. Echo and everything else. Some people say it sounds good.
Some people say it sounds good. Some people say we're loud. Some people say there's an echo. Some people say we're clipping and chopping in and out. I don't know. The volume is up and down.
Oh, you know what? It may be, could be my mic settings. Because I redid everything. You know what I'm saying, dude? I redid all this stuff, so... I don't know. I can look around and edit some stuff. Yeah.
This really bothers me, man. Can hear Boone good. What about Clark?
Not me.
Yeah, I don't like this. I might have to start producing again because the other day I actually downloaded. Because last week you made a big fucking deal. You even posted on your Facebook and everything about me drinking. So I went and downloaded the show to listen to it, and the quality sucked. But you were producing that show, so I don't know what it sounds like right now. But I hate the show I downloaded last week. You sound great. I clearly sound like I'm on a piece of shit phone, which I am, by the way. And I don't like that. I liked it back in the day when I produced, and we were both crystal clear, and you have to. That was like such a nothing issue. You didn't even have to think about whether or not you sounded good. It was just performing good.
Well, we always perform good. That's not the issue. You know what I'm saying?
I always do. I don't know about it. I don't know.
Dude. We got an hour and 50 minutes left of you, dude. Of you tonight, man. We're only 10 minutes in the show. Listen to him go.
Am I going?
You're going. You're going good. I love you, though, man. I love it.
I love you right back, brother.
All right, so...
Are you coming to Florida soon, or what? What do we got?
I'd like to come to Florida.
Do a live show, fucking in the same room, like Vegas?
I'm coming to, let's not get into that, dude. I'd like to come to Florida for other reasons, and I won't bring them up on here.
You can bring up anything you want, baby cakes. I really don't care. How about that?
I'm trying to help a brother out, man. I'm trying to help a brother out, but if the brother doesn't...
You post about it on Facebook. It's not like it's some big secret or something.
No, I took it down after it was over last
Oh, did you? Okay, I didn't know that.
I try to help a brother out, my man. I try to help a brother out, but if a brother doesn't want help, I can't help a brother out. You know what I'm saying?
Here's the best part about what's going on. The chat room remembers what I remember, which is that the next time me and you are in the same room, we're supposed to turn a video camera on, right? And then what happens?
I beat the shit out of you, dude. We already...
Oh, okay. That's what's going to happen. Well, you got it wrong, like, 'cause you said it backwards. But, yeah, that's what's supposed to happen.
Right. Well, we'll see what happens, dude. If you...
It's becoming a reality, folks, and I don't think my man over here likes it.
If you would wisen up a bit, I would gladly make the trip to Florida and help a brother out. But until you want to do that, I am basically dead weight down there, and I can't do anything. So we'll leave it at that.
It's a lot of fun.
Whoop your ass. That's about the only thing I get to do, other than that.
You wouldn't have fun getting your ass whooped on camera for all your fans to see. That would be bad. See, that would be like a detriment. That's another big word. Not that kind of detriment. It would be bad.
Blah, 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 blah.
Damn.
Yeah, buddy, going back 7 years with that, huh?
Old school.
7
years. Goddamn.
No, I think we've been doing this longer than that. What, 10 years?
Oh, yeah. Well, we started that gimmick a couple years into it. But it was funny because I actually recalled what you were just talking about, the length that we've been doing the show, because the story came out. I think it was yesterday. They announced that Mean Gene Okerlund was going to be part of that Legends House show on the WWE Network.
Yeah.
Right? Okay. Remember when we interviewed Mean Gene and you were in Colorado and you had to get up at like 4:30 in the morning to do the interview with me?
Oh, my God. But you know what? When we had Mean Gene on here, dude, he revealed there was something with Steve Austin coming back.
Stone Cold's return. He hadn't been back in like a year, and he was going to return on Raw in like 2 months after the interview, and he told us 2 months in advance, Stone Cold Steve Austin's coming back, blah, 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 blah. And we didn't even really know what he was talking about. And then when it happened 2 months later, me and you talked, and we're like, holy shit, I think Mean Gene gave us the scoop, like his old 900 hotline. Like, he told us about that.
No, it wasn't. I mean, it wasn't only that scoop, dude. There were, I mean,
There were a few.
That's probably one of our better interviews, dude. Anything with Bobby Heenan back in the day, those were great interviews that we did. Who else?
The guy that got referenced last night, the Road Warriors, Road Warrior Hawk.
That's right.
I mean, Road Warrior Animal, I'm sorry.
That's right. That's right. No, we had them both. We had them both on.
We had them both, but yeah, the one that's the brother of Johnny Ace is Road Warrior Animal, yeah.
Right. We had Hawk on before he passed away back in the day, and man, I'll tell you, I mean, those.
Remember we were supposed to interview Mr. Perfect, and he died like the next day or some shit.
That was crazy. Well, we used to make the phone calls, man. We used to call these guys up and then say, "Hey, you want to come on live radio, do something like this?" And actually, we used to tape it back in the day, didn't we? I think we taped it. And then
yeah, we taped it back then. Here's a little pop trivia for you. When goes along with what you're saying. When we would call to book the guests, what was Macho Man Randy Savage doing? Rest in peace. When we booked him.
What was he doing?
Yes.
I remember the phone call. I remember the phone call where he had that raspy voice, and
yes.
he agreed to do the interview, and then we hung up with him, and then we called back. I said, Boone, I hope you heard what he said. And you said, I have no idea, bro. And I said, dude, we got to call. Actually, his wife answered, right? His wife.
Yeah.
And then put him on the phone, and then we had to call back, and I had to say, I couldn't really understand what you were saying. What's the date again? When are we gonna do this again? Because it was a show, so we could put it up at any time. And I don't remember what he was doing though.
I do. I remember, and I haven't said a word to anybody, but there's somebody in the room that has heard the story before, and she remembered. Mrs. Tits, what was Macho Man doing when we booked him on the radio?
He was washing his dog.
You remember that, though?
He was washing his dog?
He was giving his dog a bath while we were booking him. Yeah, he said, hey, call me back and I'm washing my dog. And then you heard the water and shit. You don't remember that?
No, I remember the call back. I remember we had to call him back, but I don't remember the dog.
Yeah. No, he was washing. He was giving his dog a bath, and he sounds exactly. Oh, rest in peace. He sounded exactly on the phone like he does on TV. There's no difference. It's the same voice.
We used to have Bobby Heenan on back in the day, and he would always, he would make a joke about somebody, and then he'd be right near a toilet, and he would always flush the toilet, right?
Yeah.
he'd make a joke about somebody, whoever it was, and then he'd flush a toilet or something like that, or somebody that he didn't like if it was, I don't know, we'll bring up Ultimate Warrior or something. I mean, who knows who it was, but he would flush a toilet. Whenever we would bring up their names, he would just, it was almost like he would stand by a toilet as he did the interview, so that if we brought up a name that he didn't like, you would hear a toilet flush in the background. You know what I mean?
It was so fucking clever, man. Especially for radio, because there's not a lot you can do to be animated, but that was a very colorful way of being entertaining, if you will.
Right, yeah. So, let's get to it. How was the weekend, dude?
Crazy weekend. Not radio friendly to talk about.
It's never radio friendly to talk about. What did I do over the weekend? There was we had a UFC, right? There was a UFC on Saturday night, and then we had big football games, man. We're coming down. Playoffs are coming to an end, and we're getting to the nitty gritty by the end.
We're in the AFC NFC Championship stages.
By the end of this coming weekend, man, we're gonna know our Super Bowl teams, which is crazy. I mean, I'll tell you what, dude. You had the New Orleans Saints against the San Francisco 49ers, right? I thought the Saints were going to go in and do work, and it didn't happen, man. I'll tell you what, San Francisco's defense is unbelievable. Did you watch that game or no?
No, I didn't watch it, but I heard about it, and I was surprised to hear that New Orleans and Green Bay lost this week. I could not fucking believe it when I was told that.
It was crazy. We had, what was the other game? We had Denver and the Patriots. Poor Tebow, man. I mean, all this talk about Tebow.
That too, yeah.
He came in and it was just like 45-3 or 45-10 or something like that. So Tebow's out. So the Patriots move on. We have San Francisco defeated the Saints. We had Baltimore, your old hometown.
Yeah, my old hometown. That's my backup team. So I'm a Baltimore fan until next year.
They beat up on Houston. And
that was a close game, actually. They didn't really beat up on them.
Yeah, it was a really close game. But you know what? You guys have got to go on to face the Patriots.
That's not going to be much fun in New England too.
In New England, right? And then the fourth game over the weekend was, God, man, the New York Giants and Green Bay.
I couldn't believe it. I could not fucking. I have to say the F word there. I'm sorry. I could not fucking believe that game.
It was, you know what, dude? And I'm thinking going in at the weekend, we're going to have a New Orleans Saints versus Green Bay Packers Super Bowl. Or, no. You know what? You can't do that. You wouldn't be able to.
No, it would have been New England and Green Bay most likely.
It would have been New England and the Saints is who I thought it was going to be.
You thought the Saints were going to beat the Packers?
Right, no doubt. Drew Brees.
Wow.
Drew Brees is so nasty. I think Drew Brees is probably the best QB. I mean, your top three QBs in the NFL are Tom Brady, Aaron Rodgers, and Drew Brees, and I would say Drew Brees.
I would put Stafford in as our honorable mention.
Well, you could do Roethlisberger, Stafford, Matt Ryan. You could do a lot.
Well, see, what I hate is you got to look at what they've got to work with. Stafford only has, I mean, he's got the best receiver in the league, Calvin Johnson. But other than that, he doesn't really have a lot to work with, and he still gets 500 yards a game, 6 touchdowns a game. Like, those are insane numbers for a 3-year. This was his first full year, by the way. Every other year he was injured, and he only played like a couple games. Like, so I mean, you got to factor that stuff in. I think he's going to be the quarterback of the league in 2 years.
It's possible, dude. I mean, listen, like you said, he's a rookie. He's a rookie QB. You know what I mean? And this was his first full year playing. It's similar to, who is it? Tim Tebow, right? This is Tim Tebow's first year. I mean, everybody's like T-blows, blah, 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 after the loss to the Patriots. First of all, you need to look back and say, this is Tim Tebow. It's his first year in the NFL. Not only that, but he didn't even play the first 5 or 6 games of the season before Denver fans demanded that you come in and take over for Kyle Orton, right? And then they got rid of Kyle Orton. But it's his first year, pretty much. Second year in the NFL, but it's his first year, okay?
Starting, yeah, and playing, yeah.
As a starting QB. They won the division, okay? They beat out Oakland to win the division, right? Then they went to the second round of the playoffs. It's the first year. It's his first year in the NFL. Give the dude a break, man. I mean, you expect
postseason play is a whole lot different than regular season play. So anybody that can do anything, nobody's gonna jump into the postseason their first year and knock it out of the park.
Right. I mean, it's crazy that people are. I mean,
unless you're Tom Brady, I'm sorry, of course, but yeah.
The media just blows it up, dude. They blow this guy up, and it's his first year, and they expect him to be the next Tom Brady or the next Drew Brees, and it's his first year. I mean, give the dude a chance. And then everybody's saying, well, what's John Elway gonna do? Is he gonna fire Tebow? Is that it? Is Tebow gone, and we're gonna have another starter? Is Brady Quinn gonna come in? Blah 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 blah. Get the fuck out of here.
Well, this is a pro wrestling show. Let's look at the pro wrestling aspect of Tim Tebow.
Okay.
There's people I know, we'll call him Damien, I don't know, that I asked him once, what does the NFL stand for? He could not tell me what the NFL stood for. That's how little of a sports fan this kid was, right? Yeah, but just last night I was drinking with this kid, we'll call him Damien, and
wait a minute.
I said...
We'll call him Dino.
Well, actually, his real name is Damien. I was just making a joke. I'm not talking about Dino. Come on, dude. I don't hang out with that kid. But so I asked Damien last night. I said, "What sport does Tim Tebow play?" And he said, "Football." I said, "No shit." I said, "Give me a high five." I gave him a high five. I said, "What position?" He said, "I'm guessing quarterback." I said, "No shit." This is a guy that didn't know what NFL stood for, and I even gave him. I said, "Well, what sport does it represent? Basketball, baseball, or football?" And FL, which sport? He said, "Soccer." Or something stupid, and I wanted to fucking choke him. But yeah, he knows who Tim Tebow is. Tim Tebow on Facebook, you can't get away from him. He's everywhere. Tiffany Tits over here knows who Tim Tebow is. It's insane how popular he got in 1 year.
But you know what? I mean, this is an unfair comparison because the guy you're talking about is in the United States and should know about the NFL. But like right now, all the people from the United Kingdom are like, who cares, dude? What about cricket? What about
lacrosse?
Lacrosse, and what about cricket and soccer, and what's the other one? Rugby, that's what it is, rugby. What about that shit? You know what I mean? Dude, they'll probably shut the fuck up about this NFL shit, you know what I mean?
The whole chat room was an NFL chat room for the hour we were building up the show.
Yeah, I don't know. I don't know what our ratio is, but whatever. So let's get to it, man. Let's get into Monday Night Raw. Let me get the plugs out of the way, and then we'll get into Monday Night Raw from last night. Talk about that, and then at the end, I don't know. I think we're gonna do something different tonight. A lot of people don't. I mean, you're on here, dude. People, you kind of scare people off. Let's be honest. You know what I mean? When they call up,
What, callers? Oh,
you kind of scare them off, dude. So I'm gonna try something new. We're going to go interactive, right? I'm on Facebook and Twitter, so instead of the end post, right, where I say everybody, submit feedback on the show, blah, 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 I think we should do something like...
That's a smarter thing to do. We should have been doing that all along. Now that you bring it up, it seems obvious, but yeah, that's genius.
Where if you don't want to call, if you're too nervous to call, why you be nervous? It's Boone and Clark. Come on, you know what I mean? But if you're too nervous, you don't want to call, and we don't get to your questions in the chat room, I'm going to check my Facebook page later tonight, and I'm going to create a thread, and then you guys can ask questions, whatever you want to talk about. I mean, Evan Bourne, obviously, we're going to talk about, but any news over the past week, TNA. I know the one dude calls up, he wants to talk TNA all the time, so whatever you want to talk about, you know what I mean? I'll create that thread here in just a little bit once we, probably at the break, when we go to the break, and then when we come back, we'll take questions from Twitter or Facebook or whatever you want to do. Plugs, here we go. You can get the live chat room at www.WZROnline.com WZROnline.com.
Oh, I thought you were going to do the regular one. I'd say, yeah, I never know which one you want to do, the first or second. .com.
/chat. WZROnline.com/chat. You can check out the official website of WZR Radio, WZROnline.com. You can get us on Facebook. Go to Facebook.com. Do a search in the top bar for WZR Army, and you can find us that way. We're on Twitter as well. Just go to WZROnline.com. All the links are on the top navigation bar. And we are good to go. Monday Night Raw from last night. What you guys think in the live chat? We'll do. You know what? I was thinking about that. After we went off the air last week, we don't do chat shoutouts anymore, man.
I know. I don't like doing them, to be quite honest with you. But I mean, we can do them if you want.
Remind me at the end of the show. We'll do it once.
You're asking a drunk guy to remind you something 2 hours from now.
Well, I'm talking to the people in the chat, not you.
Okay, they'll remind you.
Anyways, all right, so school letter grades, we got some C's, right? Some B's, some C's. It was, I mean, people were commenting last night, like, this is the best Raw in years. Wouldn't go that far, dude, but the opening segment and the ending segments were awesome. The Jericho thing was awesome. It was all right. It was okay. You saw bits and pieces. I sent you some videos last night. I'm not sure you remember those.
I remember them, dude. I remember the CM Punk promo. I remember the Jericho entrance and the tag in. I remember that stuff, yeah.
We're gonna
have
Tiffany Tits on here, too, huh?
Yes, we've got some titties.
Do you have a topic in mind, or are you just going to put her on air and say, go to it?
I think I'm just going to put her on air and say, go. I don't know. We didn't really even think about it tonight.
She's not angry with me. There was a little.
You should talk about that on the air. Honestly, that's good radio. You guys being honest and talking about it in front of an audience. I would want to listen to that if I was listening. I'm sure the chat room's already intrigued right now by just the build-up we're talking about. You bring it up live on the air, and you just let her go at you, and you go at her if you need to, and I think that'll make good radio.
There was a little rift between myself and Tiffany a couple nights ago, and that was followed by a complete chewing out by Matt Boone, who just lit me up on AIM for dissing his girl, I guess. Fucking rat. Get out of here. Tits. See you later.
You know what? I kind of got to take a piss. You want to do that now or not?
No, we're going to build it up, but you can go take a piss.
Okay, build it up. Give him until 9. How about 9 o'clock, right?
Yeah, we'll do it when we come back from the...
Okay.
That works. Anyways.
It's going to be entertaining. If they are able to put their guard down and really be honest, it's going to be some of the best radio you've ever heard, so stay tuned.
No, dude, because then it's going to come across as Ryan Clark, talking to a...
Dude, make a debate out of it. Put a picture up and then the whole thing. Do a whole thing about it.
Because then I come across as a complete dickhead talking to a...
Not if you be honest. If you're honest and you explain what you're thinking and why, and you're giving your opinion, you're entitled to it. I think it's good radio, bro. I'm telling you, I don't. Quit worrying about perception and just be honest.
This coming from the dude who jumped in on the convo the other night. Okay, he jumps in on the convo and he says,
Dude, what would you do if it was? Come on.
Wait a minute. You said, I think you hurt her feelings, dude. She's kind of self-conscious. And then he says, come on live radio and chew her apart, dude. Just
No, I'm saying be honest. The same way you were on I Am, do it with your voice and let her get back at you. And I think the people would enjoy listening to it. I'm telling you, if I'm a fan and I'm listening to the show and I hear what we're saying, but I don't know what's going on, I would be on my edge of my fucking seat waiting to hear that segment.
Right, and then
and it also gives her something to talk about. So
right, and then Tiffany gets off air and she's got the self-conscious issues that you're talking about, and then I make her feel bad, and it isn't good, dude. It's not good, dude. It's not good.
But she could honestly care what you think. So I was wrong, but it would be good radio. I think you should do it.
We'll see what happens. Anyways, so go pee. I'm gonna run down Raw.
All right, cool.
This fucking guy, man. This fucking guy. Matty Boone, folks. All right. So here we go. Monday Night Raw from last night. They kicked it off. Mick Foley. That was kind of a surprise, right? We hadn't seen Foley in a couple weeks. And he comes out, starts the show. He says he's happy to be back on Monday Night Raw. And said that basically when he was wrestling, his kids were at that young age where they really don't remember any of his wrestling matches. So he wants to come back and wants to enter the WWE Royal Rumble this year, coming up in 2 weeks, right? January 29th. This brings out Dolph Ziggler and Vicky Guerrero. They came out to react to Foley basically wanting to be in the Royal Rumble. And Ziggler says that, Foley is basically an old man and he's trying to steal the spot from younger talents, right? This was awesome, man. Dolph Ziggler, I put it on my Facebook page last night. Dolph Ziggler is, if they push this guy, I thought the same thing about Alex Riley. And look where Riley is. But if they continue to push this guy, he is the next big thing in WWE. I mean, that promo last night was unbelievable. When I watch a promo, I don't want to hear people stutter, and I mean the CM Punk thing at the end was the same thing. I want to hear people stutter. It's gotta flow, dude. Like when you watch John Laurinaitis and he flubs every other word, it's like Jesus Christ. You know what I'm saying?
What do you say every other word?
Well, you know how when you watch a pro wrestling promo, right? That was a quick piss, by the way.
I really was trying for you, brother, and I grabbed a beer while I was. I'll crack it for you. Ready? Crack rock. There we go.
So when you watch a promo, right? I'm not happy about that. Just so you know, dude.
Me saying crack rock?
Well,
it was a joke, the same way I call Rocky Crack Rock because his name's Rocky. It's just a play on words. But anyway, I was listening to a lot of rap today. I'm sorry.
Yes. Anyways, so when you watch a promo, right? You don't want like when you watch John Laurinaitis, it's painful, right? It's horrible.
It's douche chill central, yes.
It's douche chill central. And then, when you watch a promo that flows, you know what I mean? Dolph Ziggler, like last night, you didn't
Foley, Flair, and TNA.
Right, I mean, it just sticks out. So I'm thinking Dolph Ziggler could be the next guy in WWE if they continue to push this guy. And it looks like they're going to. It wasn't all that long ago that he had, the United States title. They took that off him with the, Zack Ryder feud. And now he's kind of been elevated to a main event position. But you had Alex Riley there just a couple months ago with The Miz, and Riley is working dark matches and superstars.
And prior to that, Kofi Kingston.
Kofi's kind of been.
Come on, they gave him the car, the running through the crowd with the tables, but they gave him some shit, and then he was making it work. The crowd was biting, and they let it go.
And then they let it go. You're right. Well, that was 2 years ago.
I was going to say before Alex Riley, but that's the last time I was really, really watching wrestling. So that's my reference.
Yeah, they so Ziggler goes basically runs down Foley and says, "Listen, dude, you're old, you're washed up, you're taking somebody's spot in the Royal Rumble." And CM Punk comes out, right? And him and Foley's still in there as well, and Ziggler and Punk go back and forth, man. I mean,
on the mic?
You should go back and watch this.
Okay, now I'm mad at you because you should have fucking told me that last night. I would have watched that.
You said the only thing you wanted to see last night was Chris Jericho's segment from Raw.
Yeah, after you showed me Punk. I thought that was Punk's promo for the night. I didn't know he had two. And I wasn't even going to make a whole point tonight about how finally they give him, because the last couple of weeks he really hasn't been doing a lot of talking. It's been a lot of matches or interaction with Johnny Ace, whatever.
Right.
That was like the first time in a long time I've seen him do like a shoot kind of promo in the ring, and I was loving it. I was sitting here with a whole room full of people. They're all telling me how wrestling sucks, this and that. I'm like, I'm ignoring them. I'm like, I'm into this. I'm watching it. And, yeah, I didn't know there was two.
So Punk basically says, by the end of the Royal Rumble, I'm going to be WWE Champion. Already is WWE Champion. Still will be WWE Champion at the end of the Royal Rumble. Why? Because he's the best wrestler in the world. This brings out John Laurinaitis. And he says at the beginning of the show, I'm going to be a fair referee at the Royal Rumble. And then he tells Mick Foley that, I think he said, did he say, I'm going to take it under consideration, or you're not going to be in the Royal Rumble? I think he said, I'm going to take it under consideration. Or maybe not, because Vicky Guerrero then, got up in Foley's face. And God, what a horrible way to end an awesome segment, dude. You had Dolph Ziggler, who was gold on the microphone last night. And then you ended it with that Vicky Guerrero, like an evil laugh, right in Mick Foley's face. And then they shot to a commercial.
Did you really say it was one of the best promos in the last 10 years?
I did, but then I backtracked on that. I mean, the CM Punk thing from last night, that was a great promo. The best in 10 years? All right, I'll give you.
Come on, man. We're talking about Shawn Michaels, Chris Jericho, CM Punk promos.
You're right. Listen, I'll backtrack on that. I shouldn't have said 10 years. Maybe, the last couple of years. There hasn't been much good in WWE. Come on, bro.
If it was something better, it was CM Punk, but it wasn't that one. Like the initial Punk promo that broke him out as a star, that was a fucking classic promo that everybody will remember. And he even had a couple of follow-ups, like the contract signing. There was a couple of them. Triple H talking about his tie and his wife and all this and that. But the one that everybody's going to remember is where he's sitting Indian style, Native American style, I should say, at the top of the ramp. That's the one people will remember.
That was a good one. That was a really good one too, man. I'll compare this one to that one.
Paul Heyman throwing the hat advance. Like there's been some classics, man.
No, you're right. I'll take it back, man. Within the last couple of years, though, it was one of the better promos. Maybe not the last 10 years, maybe not the last 5 years, but within the last few, it was one of the better promos.
I got to see it now. Now you got me interested.
You saw it last night. That's the promo.
You're talking about him and Johnny. I thought you were still on him and Ziggler. I got distracted from it. I apologize.
Well, you know what it is, dude. The same 3 guys that were out there, the same 4 guys that were out there in the opening segment were out there for the main event segment besides Dolph Ziggler.
Okay, well, since I know what we're talking about now, I would have to disagree with you completely. It was a great promo. Was it the best promo of the last? Like, was it better than any promo in 2011 by itself? No. There was a couple CM Punk promos in 2011 I saw myself that were better than that.
But it was one of the best.
It was great. It was probably the best. Let's put it this way: it was the best promo in 2012 so far.
Well, it goes back to Facebook. I said it was one of the best promos in the last.
If you're mentioning a group of it's in the group for sure.
It was up there. It was really good, man. The end segment was awesome, and I love what they're doing, dude. It's like a CM Punk's turning into like a brand new version. It seems. Compare it to Steve Austin. We just brought him up, right? It's a talent that is basically fucking with an authority figure, right? Steve Austin and Vince McMahon and CM Punk and John Laurinaitis, and they hate each other, you know what I mean? So there's comparison.
The comment about the Road Warriors and how you live in his shadow, that was really hard-hitting stuff. I thought that was great. I thought that was amazing, actually.
Well, it was something about, you're the brother of, a road warrior, and you've amounted...
You're a roadkill or something. Yeah, it was brutal, man.
And then there was another line in there, too, with the, you've gone from sucking to sucking up. You know what I mean? So,
yeah, exactly.
There were a couple good lines in there last night. But, no, it reminds me of, obviously not to the degree that Steve Austin and Vince McMahon was, but... there's similarities where there's a talent and an authority figure that are feuding with each other. You know what I mean? So
I like that, but the only problem is with Steve Austin and Vince McMahon,
right?
Vince was every bit as good as Steve Austin in his role as Austin was in his. In this particular case, Punk, I would even dare say, is better than Austin was as far as verbalizing. Steve Austin would do a lot of gestures, facial react, like little things, very little things, but they really, it's stuff you remember.
Right.
But verbally speaking, who's the better promo? CM Punk, I would say, is more creative and more hard-hitting than Austin ever was. because he gets personal and he shoots a lot, but he mixes it into storyline beautifully.
Right, but it goes back to, okay, you had Austin and McMahon, both great talkers, and it goes to CM Punk.
And Johnny Ace is garbage, so it's not the same.
You're right, but you get where I'm going. You know what I mean?
Well, the only saving grace in that scenario is the fact that Johnny Ace is probably the top heel in the company, just by the way that people hate him. They don't like looking at him. They don't like hearing his voice, and they're deciding to make it out of character, but it's for all the wrong reasons. But it'll help elevate Punk because they hate him so bad that when Punk really digs into him in a shoot style,
right,
it's gonna get Punk. It's good for Punk. Let's put it that way, because Punk's gonna get over off of this.
You know what's crazy? Okay, you want a heel. You want a heel to just get booed out of the building, right? And when I say heel, I'm talking about a wrestler, dude. Your two biggest heels in WWE right now are Vicky Guerrero and John Laurinaitis. What does that say about building up your top heels? You know what I mean, dude? When your two biggest heels don't even wrestle. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's Vicky Guerrero.
And they're both go home heat, like get off my TV, like change the channel heat. It's not good, but it works. You're gonna get the crowd to boo, and if it's here, the whole fucking arena's shaking because people are booing. He thinks, let's make them the top heel, you know, and it's not. It's for the wrong reason.
Listen, you want to go number 3? Michael Cole. Another
that perfect example. Perfect example.
So there's your top 3 heels in WWE, all non-wrestlers: Vicky Guerrero, Michael Cole, and John Laurinaitis. You know what I mean?
None of them wrestle. They have worked matches. I think. Well, yeah, all of them have at one point or another. But none of them are going to be at the house shows. None of them are going to sell pay-per-views for you. They're going to be novelty acts at best, and they're the top heat getters in the company. 1, 2, and 3. The gold, the medalists.
Right. Gold, bronze, and silver. Gold.
Yeah, exactly. Not in the right order, but yeah, gold, silver, medal. Or gold, silver, and bronze, yeah.
Gold, silver, bronze. There you go. Guys, get to our live chat room, WZROnline.com/chat. We're running down Monday Night Raw from last night. So the opening segment, they kicked things off great until the end. Vicky Guerrero with that evil laugh. It was stupid. There was a rematch. Titles changed hands on Sunday night in Oakland, California. You knew something was up with that because they rarely do that on house shows. So we had a rematch. It was Primo and Epico, right?
I don't know how to pronounce his name. That doesn't sound right to me, but yeah.
And Evan Bourne and Kofi Kingston. This was quick, man. It was about 2 minutes, and then you had Bourne went up for the shooting star press, and then decided, or somebody hit him with a backstabber for the win. It's basically the same match that they did the night before. We put that video up on the website. Same finish as the night before in Oakland. So they retain the tag team titles, and then we found out what was up with Evan Bourne earlier today. We'll get to that in just a couple minutes. I'll skip the backstage segments. There was, David Otunga and John Laurinaitis. Actually, this was kind of big, dude. They announced a 6-man tag team main event, and the 6th man for the tag team, Jericho, showed up in the office and had a sparkly jacket. I put up a video, dude. It was on, I don't know where it came from. I don't think CM Punk, it wasn't on CM Punk's Twitter. I thought it was his YouTube account at first. And did you see that, dude? It was like, he's a banana.
No, I didn't.
He's a banana, dude. It was awesome, bro. Anyways, it's on
I swear to God, it's come up in my head a few times since I've seen it. It was the first week Jericho was back, and I talked about it on the air.
Right.
It was a backstage WWE.com exclusive. He didn't say a word. He just got done coming through the curtain. He's walking backstage. They ask him, blah, 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 Royal Rumble this, blah, 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 how's it feel, the fans love you. And he just does a big cheesy grin, and a couple seconds later they ask him another question, and he just stops and lights his jacket up and keeps walking. It's so fucking funny, man.
We put that, it came from WWE.com, like Boone said, after the show went off the air. That was awesome. You're right.
It was great, dude. It's come in my head a couple of times. I'm like, man, that motherfucker's so creative. It's insane. I was trying to explain to a room full of non-wrestling fans, like not even non-wrestling fans, like people that just don't even want to acknowledge the fact that it could be entertaining at all.
Right.
I was trying to explain why it was entertaining. I'm like, listen, because they saw it. They were watching it with me last night.
Right.
And they were like, well, that's so cheesy. And I said, listen, douchebag, it's supposed to be cheesy. That's why I said, listen, he's going over the top with the cheesiness. It's almost like a comment on the wrestling industry itself. Like, I'm being a good guy right now. And it's it's fucking creative, man. If you get it. If you don't get it, it's impossible to explain, really. But it's really creative.
So the douchebag that you're talking about got the douche chills while watching that? So
yes, there was not one douche. There was a couple douchebags, but yeah, and Tits wasn't one of them. But it was because I think she gets it actually. But the other ones were like telling me how douchey it was. I'm like, it's supposed to be douchey. He's going over the top with the douchiness. That's the whole point, and it's fucking funny, man.
Does Tiff douche? Hey!
Oh, bring that up when she's on the air. Let's see what happens.
Oh, that was bad. That was horrible.
That was not polite. If I would have said that, you probably would be yelling at me right now.
That was that was pretty bad. Anyways.
He said, "Does douche?" What did you say? Say it again.
Does Tiff douche?
Does Tiff the Tits douche? Because I said douche chills. You know, something like that. Anyways, continue. She rolled her eyes.
You know what douching is, right?
Yeah, I know what douching is, right? You fucking douche.
Get to our live chat room, WZROnline.com/chat, WZROnline.com/chat. Get there. We got a lot of people in there tonight. Back to Monday Night Raw. We had Jack Swagger defeated Zack Ryder to win the United States title.
Really? They changed the title on Raw? Wow. After changing the tag titles on the house show.
Well, here's the problem. We've put up on the websites for the last couple weeks that Zack Ryder's segments, especially last week with the where he was out there changing the tire on the car and the whole kidnapping thing, or not a kidnapping angle, but basically Kane was stalking everybody last week on Raw.
Yeah, I remember like it was yesterday because I've never seen it.
And
yeah.
All the segments that Zack Ryder was involved in were tanking. I mean, viewers were tuning out in droves, man. But it all goes back to, listen. A lot of people don't. I mean, everybody on the internet knows Zack Ryder, right? And you don't make a star overnight. And I feel like, it's been 3 or 4 weeks, a good 3 or 4 weeks, probably about a month, right? Where we've had a good amount of Zack Ryder on TV, and they give up. I mean, they look at these ratings and they say, well, this guy's not drawing, and they give up on it. You know what I mean? It's just you can't judge in a month. You've got to let it go. I mean, the guy's not going to become a mega star overnight with the fans, besides the people on the internet, with the casual fans. He's not going to become an automatic star. You've got to give the guy a chance. And I feel like they're kind of giving up on. I mean, we'll see what happens. I think they're going to do a rematch where Ryder, I mean, we still featured a lot on TV even after losing the title. They did a couple backstage segments last night, but it just seems to, and not only that, but like when Chris Jericho, listen, what are you laughing at?
You're babbling.
All right, when Chris Jericho returned to, there was like 90,000 people that tuned out, right? So
I didn't see the ratings. I don't know.
So people tune out for Jericho as well. So should we all of a sudden stop pushing Jericho? Let's not put Jericho on TV.
Well, it's like a comment on the writing team too. Like there's no such thing as patience in WWE. Like how many times do they rewrite the script before the show? Week to week, fucking forget about it. WrestleMania, fucking forget about it. Like they change their minds so often that when they're giving somebody the opportunity to get over, right? Oh, hold on, there were people talking about me in the chat. I got distracted. When they give somebody the opportunity to get over, and if it doesn't happen overnight, they're like, well, fuck it, let's try somebody else, But you got to let it simmer a little bit. Let the fucking people feel it. Let the little kids get into it. They don't do that. They really don't do that at all. And that's the perfect example with Zack Ryder is that he was over before they were even trying. So he was over based on his own volition. Like he got himself over, and they decided to start going with it. But they didn't continue. They didn't really get behind him. They gave him douchey, dumb shit to do, and then they wonder why the crowd they thought he was over because he was a douche. Like his theme music, the way he dresses, his catchphrases. And then when they give him douchey material to get over with, they're like, well, why isn't this working? It's like, well, wait a minute. The crowd wants this guy to be somebody, and you're just pushing the fact that he's a big goofball. They don't want that. They want him to be somebody. They like him. They clearly like him. Huh. They're showing you that they like him. And they decide to make him an even bigger goof. And they're like, well, why isn't this working? Well, duh.
You're rambling.
I was rambling? Well, I decided to make a point about wrestling. All right, let's talk about titties and shit. How about that? And beer.
All right.
There's some big-ass titties right over here. Tiffany just said it right now in the background.
We'll see her in a little bit. She'll be up here in a little bit.
Oh, it's coming, folks. You guys get ready for the best radio you've ever heard, because during the commercial, I'm going to coach her. I'm gonna tell her what to do. And Ryan, you better be ready to be honest on the radio because you got nothing to be worried about. So you be honest, and it'll be good radio. The fans will love it.
I'm not. Listen, I'm not a dick, dude. I'm not a real.
You don't have to be a dick. You can be honest though.
I can be honest, dude, but I don't want to come across like a real life dick on.
Quit worrying about how you come across. That's not the way you do radio. You come across the way you're being honest. Honesty is the key to good radio. Howard Stern is the king of that. You just be honest, and the people will be interested. Sometimes they like you, and they're with you, and they agree with you. Sometimes they're against you, they hate you, and they think you're an asshole. But it's all good as long as they're entertained. They're going to be entertained, believe me.
Well, thank you, Coach Boone.
Hey, who started this gig, baby cakes? All right, let's not kid ourselves here.
Well, who started it and then who took over? Didn't you?
Who took over? Who quit and said you can have it? I think is what happened. You didn't take over.
Wait a minute, dude. Wait a minute. You quit?
Are you serious? You don't remember how it went down? I stopped doing the show and I said you can take the name if you want to keep doing it, and you're like, yeah, I'll keep doing it. And you made a website and this and that and the whole thing.
I brought it back. There would be no WZR Radio right now if it wasn't for yours truth.
That's a very true statement.
It's a very true statement. And what happened in the end? What happened in the end, Boone? What do we have every Tuesday night?
We have a radio show that is loved by millions, yes.
And you came back. You came back. He quit, and then he came back. See that?
Why did I come back? Let's be honest there, too. What the fuck are we talking about?
Well,
do I do it for the love and the passion I have for wrestling?
Maybe a little bit of money involved.
The chat room's already saying it for you. Yeah, money. Punker's right. Money. I'm here for money. I'm here to get paid. You want me to be a heel? I'm here for money.
Everybody already knows you don't watch wrestling, dude, so it must be about the money, dude, right?
I watch wrestling when wrestling's worth watching. Let's put it that way. There's been a couple periods where it seemed like it was something that should be like. I like good wrestling. There's no such thing as good wrestling lately. It's shit every week.
But what do you use that money on, Boone?
I buy beer. I buy cigarettes. I buy food.
You buy beer? Get the fuck out of here.
Yeah. Look, AMC Boy just summarized my whole life. And he's not just talking about the radio show. He's talking about why I'm alive right now. Yep. Boone is here for money, beer, and tits. And he put tits in all capital letters. And that's a great man because he's right.
Money, beer, and tits, man. If that's the way you want to live your life, I can understand the tits and the money, dude. But the other extracurricular activity.
Bro, beer makes the tits better and the money better. You need to have a couple drinks. Look, they got booze up on the video screen now. They're with me, man.
Yeah, wait a minute, dude. You can't listen. On a Friday or Saturday night, I'm drinking some beers. No doubt about it, dude. UFC's on. Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday at noon, I'm not drinking no beers, motherfucker, dude.
But the Tuesday part, I got to include. This is a performance we're doing here, okay? I want to perform to the best of my ability, and when I'm not drunk, I'm kind of boring. The chat room used to encourage me to get drunk every week. Now they're acting like I'm a drunk.
That's the problem.
They used to yell at me when I wasn't drunk.
Wait a minute.
Same people.
That's the problem, though. That's the problem. People that drink, they feel like they can't function if they don't have alcohol in their system. You could probably be a funny motherfucker. You could come on here on a Tuesday night, and we could tear the fucking house down with a sober Boone. Okay? But your mindset is where you go every single day, you feel like I can't function without my beer or...
Listen, A, now you said something, okay?
Yes.
B, I can function and I can be entertaining just fine on the radio without drinking. But the chat room used to beg me to drink on the show because they've heard shows where I'm not drinking and I would announce it. They heard shows where I was drinking and I would announce it. And they would say, is Boone drunk tonight? That's always the first question I get when I come in the chat. Have you been drinking? If I say yes, they pop. If I say no, boo. So I'm trying to give them what they want. Let me tell you.
It used to be a Tuesday night and weekend thing, and it has steadily progressed into a daily thing on a weekly basis, and people are more concerned for your health right now than you being tanked on a show on Tuesday night. You feel me?
I feel you.
You feel me?
What else happened on Raw?
Can we move on?
What else happened on Raw?
What else happened on Raw? Oh man, I'm gonna hear from you after the show. I know I am. Anyways.
No, dude, there's not a single thing you could say on the radio that I would give a fuck about. Believe me, you can say whatever you want.
And that may be.
I'm down. Like I told you with Tiffany at 9 o'clock. You better goddamn come correct. Me, you can say whatever you want. I could give two shits. I really could. Trust me.
Could be the current mindset. Just saying.
I'll wake up tomorrow and I'll care even less because it's already over. You see.
You'll care even less because as soon as you get up out of bed, take 2, take 3, take 4. Anyways, Brodus Clay.
He's got jokes, folks.
He's got jokes, and Boone's trying to make comebacks, and they're lame.
That was a good line. Jokes, folks? What are we talking about? That came right off the top of my head.
Well, jokes, folks, is okay, dude.
It's pretty good, jokes, folks.
Anyways, your comeback sucks. Anyways, Brodus Clay, dude. Brodus Clay, the Funkasaurus, comes out on Monday Night Raw last night, right? And he defeats JTG. I gotta say, man, I love this game. The only problem I had last night is they added something that wasn't there the week before when he came and debuted, and that is when you are watching on a 50-inch flat screen TV with high definition. Yeah, I'm gonna put myself over a little bit, right? High definition.
You got a big TV. Congratulations.
I got a big TV. I got a high definition TV too. So when a fat dude comes out and does a booty shake, in high definition on my TV, yeah, come on, dude. You know what I'm saying? But the gimmick it's wearing on me a little bit, man. We had, besides the...
In the second week it's wearing on you? No shit. I told you last week it sucked.
No, even Roz said last week that it was all right, man. He was on here last week, you know.
It was stupid.
Yeah, but he's like a mix of Ernest the Cat Miller and The Godfather, dude. It's like a blend between both of them.
And Run DMC, throw them in there because he dresses that way.
Run DMC, there you go, dude. I like that. So he came out, and the thing that I love, dude, and hopefully they do this where he'll hit a splash, or he'll go, he'll be about to hit a splash and be like, "My bad, dude. My bad, man." You know what I mean? Come on, dude. If you don't laugh, that's funny, man.
No, but it's also something that'll pigeonhole you into never being that you'll be a nobody. You know what I mean? Like the way they built him up with all those video packages for weeks and weeks and weeks, built into our brains. This is a fucking killer. He's a badass. He's gonna be the real deal. And then when we finally get him, he's a douchebag. He's Santino Morello on cheeseburgers. Like, it's stupid.
It's stupid, dude, but there's always going to be gimmicks like that. Not only that, dude, but last week when he debuted, he had a squash match, basically murdered somebody. Last night, he took out JTG, another squash match, right? So, I mean, it's not like they're going to bury him or anything. I mean, it seems to me like they're going to make him a beast, basically like a force to be reckoned with, but a corny one. You know what I mean?
I think the chat room liked my Santino Morello on cheeseburgers comment. They seem to be enjoying that one.
Say it again. What was it? Santino and cheeseburgers?
Yeah, I said he's basically Santino on cheeseburgers because, he's a big fat version of Santino. Crack.
Are you serious? You cracked another one?
Has it been that long? It's been a while, right?
No, it's been like 10 minutes.
Hmm.
Well,
it was time for another one, brother.
You took a piss like 10, 15 minutes ago, dude. It's time for another?
That one wasn't mine. Somebody opened one right on the phone on purpose. And you better get her, man. That should be your motivation right there.
Man, oh, man. I love you,
dude. Please make good radio. I'm begging you. I want a Howard Stern show tonight. Just be honest and fucking you two just talk honestly and pretend nobody's listening. And then when everybody's listening, they're going to be goddamn into it.
Let me tell you.
And I'm guaranteeing right now, she's probably going to yell at me during the commercial and say she doesn't want to do it, blah, blah, blah. I don't care. I know what people want to hear. I'm telling you. Ask the chat room. Chat room. Do you guys want to hear some motherfucking honesty live on the radio? I'm telling you some things. It's going to be entertaining. I bet you.
I see. How drunk are you, Boone? You're slurring your words.
Yeah, well, they're going to start answering me because there's a delay. Look.
Some no's in there. See,
there's some no's, but there's a whole lot of yeses.
There's a whole lot of yeses, but there's some no's. I just don't think it's appropriate for me to come on here and argue with a woman on live radio. It's just not.
If you worry about how you're perceived, then yeah, I understand that. But if you want to entertain people, and by the way, the people that are saying no are the same fucking 2 or 3 people saying it over and over again. Anyways, if you want to be entertaining, you be honest. That's it. That's the key to being entertaining is honesty. Be honest.
Well, be honest with yourself.
That's impossible.
That is impossible. You are a hard-headed son of a bitch. Oh, man, dude. I guess, I don't know.
Women are not people. They're things, LOL. AMC boy said that. If I could give him a high five right now, I'd give him a high five. I like that guy.
For saying women are not people, they're things? Are you serious?
Yeah, that's funny. It's not true, obviously, and Tiffany's quite offended in the background. Do you hear it?
I do. What are you saying? Shut your mouth.
She said she was talking about how I'm her slave or something, but yeah, it was a good comment.
Shut your mouth, Tiffany.
Shut your mouth, Tiffany.
No.
She said no, and then she said, like that.
Oh, we're in for a good debate. Shut your mouth, Tiffany. No, get the...
Look at the screen. Do you have the chat room up? Oh, you do the regular chat. He's got a graphic that says "Got Tits?" ? Like the Got Milk thing.
Yeah, got Clark.
It's fucking great.
Anyway.
Vendetta, you're the man, bro.
So we, yeah, after you trashed him and said, you know what, I hate this. I'm gonna produce, dude. I'm done with this shit.
Well, I don't like the quality. That I don't know what the cause of that is. I gotta figure that out.
But you're the man, Vendetta. You are the man. So says.
Yeah. All right. That's a weird dichotomy. What I just mean. Go ahead.
Dichotomy. There he is. Yeah, buddy. All right. So we had Daniel Bryan right before we get to the main event. He comes out, calls out the Big Show, and basically says that he's a cruel freak who ran over his girlfriend last week, and said AJ will never be the same again. And basically, you know, goes on. I mean, obviously Daniel Bryan's going heel, right? Within, you know, the next week or two. I mean, it's close. You know, maybe at the Royal Rumble. Who knows? He's already basically a heel.
Basically, yeah.
So they're going to do the rematch. By the way, SmackDown tapings are going to be late tonight. They are in Las Vegas.
God, are you fucking serious, man?
Let me tell you. You want to hear what happened, man?
All right, I'm going to message my boss while we talk some more. Keep going.
Well, let me tell you something. I went to bed last night at 2:30 in the morning, and I was woken at 6:30 with car trouble. Had to go out and jump a car this morning. Never went back to bed. So we're going on 4 hours of sleep, and then we are in Las Vegas tonight, and you know, it's a 3-hour delay because that's West Coast time. So SmackDown is not going to start. Even the dark match or Superstars and NXT is not going to start until about 10 o'clock Eastern time in about an hour. The doors pretty much just opened out at the Thomas and Mack Center. So it's going to be a late night. It's probably going to be 2 a.m. before we get spoilers on the East Coast. So you might want to stay
at
least 2 a.m. That's if we have a live coverage guy. We'll see what happens. So I don't know. It's gonna be a late night, 2 a.m. Maybe later, maybe tomorrow morning. Depends on what.
God.
I would tell him I'm on 4 hours of sleep, man. I'm tired. You know.
I'm not on much myself, and most of my sleep isn't sleep. It's just passing out, and then I wake up.
And then what do you do when you wake up?
I do some work, I eat some food, I take a shower, and then I start drinking. Is that what you're looking for?
I was just asking, dude. What are you doing?
I'm on the radio. Bro, there could be 0 people listening right now. It could be me and you talking, or there could be hundreds and thousands of people like right now. And I'm going to say the same thing, okay?
I love my job. Flag guy in the chat. I do. I love my job. Even the Facebook. I love all the people on the Facebook that I get to interact with. You know, I've been Dude.
XM Punk 876 in the chat says Boone puts beer in his cereal, and in the chat room it's located at WZR Online. Ooh, that was drunk, wasn't it? WZROnline.com/chat. I apologize. Continue. That was bad. I know that was bad. Just keep going. It was bad, dude. I heard myself say it.
We're going to break. We're going to take a commercial break. We're going to come back. It's 9 o'clock Eastern time. We're going to go to break anyway. So,
I apologize. Don't yell at me, man. I didn't mean to do that.
It's weekly, man. I'm used to you by now. Anyways, we're going to go to commercial break. We'll come back on the flip side. And,
God, it's going to be so. I can't wait to sit here. I'm going to be a fan of the show. I wish I could hear you loud.
It's not going to be as good as you think because I'm not going to go off.
I'm going to tell Tiffany to push the issue during the commercial break.
Yeah, we'll see.
Yeah.
Tiffany. Tiffany is not the best talker in the world, so I'm not.
No, she's not. But I'm gonna coach her, and I'm gonna fucking tell her what to do. And if you play ball, it's gonna be some great radio, and these people are gonna fucking love it. I guarantee it. They're gonna fucking love it, man.
You are listening to WZR Radio with Matt and Ryan Clark. We'll be back right after this.
Whoa!
And why it is cutting. I mean, we get like an hour into the show, right, and then we hit the commercial break, and then it's always an hour number.
We're back, bro.
Yeah, I know. It's always an hour number 2 or an hour number. You know what I mean, dude? It's like
Well, I mean, you got to do like shit. The archive, I guess, plays off of what the stream hears. So even when the people because normally I would say just keep doing the show and they'll hear it on the archive, but they wouldn't even hear what we were saying off air on the archive.
Right, because it goes off because the archive.
What were you drinking just now? Was that water?
It's ice water.
All right. What if it was ice beer?
I wouldn't be drinking beer on a Tuesday night, dude.
Well, guess what? Hold on. I would. How about that? Oh, they didn't hear any of the tit stuff. Damn. And it was so good. Oh.
It was.
Oh, man.
It was pretty good, dude. It really was good.
Oh, God. I didn't even hear what you were saying, but I heard her end, and I'm like, I was so proud. I was like, she's fucking killing it right now.
She was good this week, man. Everybody missed out. You know what I mean?
Oh, God damn it.
All right, so we'll do it again next week. How about that?
All right, but it won't be as passionate next week, so it won't be the same. God damn it.
No, I know. We already did it the first time, so it's going to...
I know, and you're not going to be able to manufacture the same responses and shit.
I know. No, I don't.
They didn't even hear you, Tiffany. Oh, man, I'm so depressed for her. God damn it, she was killing it.
Well, she's probably depressed herself from that lashing she just took, so...
She could care less what you say, believe me. But, yeah, she was doing so good.
Oh, wah. Yo, you know what? Yeah, listen. You know the Geico commercial with the fucking pig?
The pig? No, it's a little, it's a gecko. It's a little lizard.
It's a pig, dude. They've got a brand new commercial, Geico, and they say, wee, wee, and they drive.
Okay, the chat knows it. Yeah, I don't watch TV. You're right.
Ah, dude, that fucking pig. Let me tell you something. His name is Maxwell. I found out yesterday that the pig's...
You talking about her voice? Is that what you're building?
To be honest with you, I wasn't going there. But
oh, where were you going?
We can go there if you want, dude. But I'll tell you, if I find fucking, if you
find what?
If I find Maxwell, then maybe wee, bang, kaboom. You know what I'm saying? Shotgun blast. That fucking pig. It's like every single station, dude. CBS, ABC, ESPN, NBC, all.
What made that come up, by the way? What made you think of that?
You were talking about something, dude, and I said, "Oh, that fucking pig." I don't know.
All right.
We can talk about people's noses.
You want to talk about my nose?
Your nose?
My nose.
What about it?
I don't know. You tell me.
Pigs?
Is this who was on first right now? What are we doing right now?
Pigs?
If you're on first, then who's on second? If you're on second, what do you want to do? What are we doing?
Boone's nose and pigs? What are you talking about?
Oh, okay, because I got a pig nose. Is that what you're saying?
Oh, you got a pig nose?
Yeah, I do have a pig nose.
Who said you got a pig nose?
Lots of people have said I have a pig nose. It's upturned the whole time. I get it. I get the joke.
You got a pig nose. I
got a pig nose. You got a egg head.
I got a football head, and you got a pig nose.
All right, now we're even.
Hey!
Hey!
So check it out, man. Evan Bourne. Let's get into this, man, and then we're going to take live calls.
The other thing we got to do, too, at some point we got to talk about the UFC. I know there wasn't a lot of big names, but the fucking fights were amazing. We got to at least describe the two knockouts that are worth talking about, right?
Yeah, no doubt.
And the weight issue and the whole thing, what happened after.
All right, we'll do Evan Bourne. We'll talk about that, and then we'll get into UFC, and then we'll take live phone calls. The Benoit thing we can hold off for a couple weeks or until next week.
The Benoit movie, yeah.
Yeah, well, I called Benoit a scumbag on Facebook today, and people said, why would you call him a scumbag? And they were kind of, you know...
Are you fucking kidding me?
That's what I said. And there were a lot of people that says, dude, why are you calling him a scumbag? And I'm like, are you guys serious right now?
Are you seriously joking? Like, I know he was a good guy when he was alive, but guess what? He wasn't his last day alive. Dude,
50% of the comments were, why would you call him a scumbag, blah, 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 blah. And I'm thinking, this is crazy, dude. It's like people... they go back to his wrestling career, but the wrestling career just does not matter.
Yeah, he had great matches. That's fantastic. But he also murdered his fucking wife and his son. Let's not pretend that what happened didn't happen. You know what I mean? Like, it happened, okay?
Yeah.
As much as you don't want to believe it, it happened, and that changes your... If it doesn't change your perception, I don't care how many beers you drink, then something's wrong with you.
No, it just seemed crazy to me that people were, kind of defending him on Facebook this morning. But that's another topic for another time, and we'll get into it next week.
Talk about diehard fans. Jeez, okay, he had great matches. Who gives a shit? He also did some fucked up things.
Well, and people forget. I think people forget that story where he killed his wife first, and then he took his son out in the swimming pool and went swimming. And after a swim in the pool,
the details are I don't even like listening to him. It's very graphic. It's fucked. It's bad. He's a fuck him.
Well, when you look at, the details, when you look at it where, his wife, Nancy was dead inside the house. And, let's be real, dude. Nancy was already deceased inside the house, and Benoit went out and took a swim with his son, and then killed the son after going for a swim and then killed himself. It's just, the details, like you said, are crazy, bro.
It makes your stomach turn, yeah.
It does.
By the way, they put the picture of Tiffany kissing some chick up on the street. Now they got me in a dress, of course, but you were in the middle of a very serious topic, so I couldn't interrupt you. But yeah, that was Tiffany. They were asking for pictures of her in the chat.
Yeah, anyways.
Vendetta, put it back up real quick, bro.
We got to, I don't know. Evan Bourne. So this morning it was announced that via WWE.com, actually it was on the corporate website first, corporate.wwe.com, they announced that he had failed another wellness policy test. 60 days, going to be out for the next 2 months. This is his second strike. It's a 3-strike policy, obviously. 3 strikes and you're out. And we don't know, like we said earlier, we don't know what it was for yet. But it seems, he came out on Twitter and basically said, I apologize, some things. I forget exactly what exactly he said or what the exact, somebody in the chat room can fill me in, but it's crazy, man. It's almost like, we just had the stories up with, the stuff that went down backstage with Triple H as well, where Bourne went up to Triple H and basically said, my apologies, failed the drug test and I'm back on track. And then, they bring him back to TV and 2 weeks later, he fails another wellness policy test. Obviously, they must have found out over the weekend, Friday or Saturday, and then decided to take the titles off on a live event. And then it didn't make sense, man. Like, they did a rematch on Raw last night, but why take the titles off at a house show? Just to kind of give that feel where anything can happen at a WWE live event, and then do the rematch on Monday Night Raw,
I think it was a deadline. Like, they had to release them, or not release, they had to suspend them by a certain point, and to do that, I think they wanted the titles off of them this time. They weren't going to, we'll suspend them but keep the titles on them like we did last time. I think this time they're like, fuck him. We got to get the belt off of him, but we can't wait till tomorrow to do it because we have to announce the suspension and make it official tomorrow by law. So, fuck it. It's a house show tonight. Take the titles off and get them off of them. You know what I mean?
Yeah, and like I said, dude, to give that feel that anything can happen at a WWE live event, but they didn't have to do that. They could have done the match on Raw where it's in front of 3-4 million people instead of 5,000 fans in Oakland. Obviously, they showed clips on Raw, but it was almost like we're going to give, a live event just that anything can happen in a live event. Title changes can happen. Anything can happen.
Well, there's always that element too, yeah.
Right. So what do you think, dude? Let's get into it. Let's say we don't know what it is. Obviously, we don't know if it's steroids, cocaine, weed, pot, spice, synthetic marijuana. We don't know what it is. But let's say it's pot again.
I love that synthetic marijuana makes your like that's a thing now. Because it is. They do test for that. But it's just funny that you have to include that in the list of possibilities.
Well, there used to be fines. It used to be a $1,500 or $1,000 fine, and then it got raised to $2,000, and now it's suspensions, Yeah. Well, at least for the synthetic marijuana. But let's say this, man. We got into it earlier on, and this gets into a whole, pot debate, legalize pot or don't legalize pot, and that's where I'm going with this. But let's say it's pot. Okay, let's say he went out and he smoked a bowl, took a couple hits, smoked a joint, blunt, whatever. What do you think, dude? Should
I've done that many times.
Right, but should this, should his job be in jeopardy? Somebody brought up a great point, and I don't know if they're in the chat tonight or what, but somebody on my Facebook said, you know what? It's company policy, and they're right. Where, as if WWE tells you not to go ride a bike on Wednesday, you don't ride a bike on Wednesday because that's company policy. And they've got a policy that says, no marijuana, and if you test for synthetic marijuana or marijuana, you are going to get a 30-day, 60-day fine, or you're going to be terminated. Who said it? The old Jolly Roger in the chat room said it. And he's got a great point where it is company policy. But the fact remains is this, and this is the point that I brought up. 99% of wrestlers are on painkillers. Boone, you know this. All it takes, they go into a doctor, they say, I'm a WWE wrestler, I'm on the road 200 plus days a year, my body's in pain.
They use the back as an excuse because doctors can't tell shit with backs.
Okay, they use the back as an excuse. And they don't go to one doctor. They go to multiple doctors. Okay, and then they go out there.
They call it doctor shopping, yeah.
They call it doctor shopping, and it's very easy for a pro wrestler to go out there and get these prescription painkillers, okay? So the question that I'm building towards is this. A guy that has a prescription and that can go into a drug test and basically fails for Vicodins or something like that, or Hydros or something, right? And he failed.
Same thing, yeah.
It's not failing because he's got a prescription, right? So he can go out there, and you know that they're probably 40, 50 pills deep. You build up a tolerance, this, that, and the other thing, right? Would you rather, and this is the question, would you rather have a guy that's hopped up on 40 or 50 painkillers out there, and you know that 99% of wrestlers are, when you watch them on Raw, that they're hopped up on something because they go doctor shopping? Would you rather have somebody on 40 painkillers out there in a ring versus a guy that smoked a little bit of pot?
Well, here's my question to you. Do you know of a case of anybody that got suspended because of weed specifically? I mean pot, we're calling it, yeah.
Evan Bourne. Well, synthetic pot.
Oh, so we do know that it was synthetic pot.
The first time around it was.
Well, then he's an idiot, because could he not go to California and get a fucking prescription for weed, medical marijuana, and just, if he failed a test, be like, hey, I got a prescription for this shit. That's why I do it. I
don't know how that would.
I do it.
Well, I don't know how that would work in Debbie. I mean, look, Snoop Dogg has a prescription in California for medical marijuana. Just got pulled over on a tour bus in Texas, and they arrested him.
Well, did he have weed on him?
He had medical marijuana.
Yeah, that's why he got suspended or arrested. He had it on him. Like, if he failed a piss test, if he was on probation,
yeah, but why is
it would be different because he's got a prescription. He'd be like, well, I got a prescription for this shit. That's why I failed the test.
Okay, but if he's got a prescription, Snoop Dogg, the point I'm making is Snoop Dogg has a prescription in California for medical marijuana.
Yeah, for California, bro. If he's in California, he gets pulled over, he's okay because he's got a prescription for weed in California. If he's in Georgia and he's got a prescription for California weed and he's in Georgia, well, what the fuck do you have your weed in Georgia for?
Okay, so
you get arrested.
If you walk into a doctor's office in New York and you get a prescription painkillers, right? You're telling me that if you go to Pennsylvania, it's not legal in Pennsylvania? I mean,
I wouldn't know because I've got prescription. I got a broken back, as you know, so I get prescription pills sometimes. And we went to Vegas, and I refused to take my prescriptions with me because I was afraid that I'd get in trouble in the airport. I didn't know the rules, but it seems to me that if you got legal marijuana in California, if you get pulled over with weed in California, you're okay. But if you're anywhere else, they're like, well, okay, we got a prescription in California, dickhead, because you're a California resident.
I find it highly, what's the word I'm looking for? That you can get a prescription in New York State for prescription painkillers, okay? And you can basically take those to any state. And as long as you have a prescription, you're fine.
Bam, he just said in the chat. CM Punk rules, because weed is not legal in all states. Prescription pills are if you have a prescription for them. In all states, that prescription is validated. They accept that prescription.
Right.
If you're in Georgia and you got a prescription for weed in California, they're like, well, that's fine in California, but we don't allow that shit in Georgia.
Okay.
I don't care if you have a California prescription. You're not in California. We don't. It's illegal in Georgia.
Okay.
Vicodin isn't illegal if you have a prescription in Georgia. You know what I mean?
Well, wait a minute. If you get you're telling me if you get a prescription for painkillers, you can go in all 50 states and
yes, because they're legal in all 50 states if you have a prescription. Weed is not legal in all 50 states. It's only legal in one state with a prescription.
And let me ask you this: what's worse, smoking weed or taking prescription painkillers?
Taking prescription painkillers. That's not the question, though. You asked a different question.
No, but the point that I'm trying to make is prescription painkillers are available. As long as you have a script, you can go to all 50 states and you're fine. But if you have a script for marijuana, even though it's a prescription, it's the same thing. It's a prescription. It should be legal.
I agree with you, but the law is the law, and the law is retarded, but it's the law.
I understand that, dude, but the point I'm trying to make is you just admitted the prescription painkillers were a lot worse than smoking weed. So,
way worse. Way worse.
It goes back to Evan Bourne. So let's get back to if you're about to go work a match, okay? And let's bring up somebody, okay. I know he's clean and sober right now. At least he appears to be. But Matt Hardy, okay, guy was probably popping 40 or 50 pills. He was going out there and working matches. Let's say you had Matt Hardy hopped up on 40, 50 prescription painkillers. Let's say you had Evan Bourne out there smoked a joint right before the match. Who would you rather want to work against? A guy?
Neither one of them. Neither one of them.
Okay, neither one of them. But if
they're both in an altered state of mind, and you're giving them to your body, that's a different question. That's a whole different debate. You don't want to be on any substance of any kind if you're in the ring and you're giving someone your body. That's a different thing.
All right, but nonetheless, it happens.
Because the guy that does pills might be able to function on pills. The guy that does weed might be able to function on pills. You switch it up, and you give the weed guy the pills. You give the pill guy the weed. It might hit them differently, and they might not be able to control your body the right way. So it's a.
You're right, but 99% of pro wrestlers are hopped up on prescription painkillers, whether you want to be in there with them or not. They've got a script, and they're out there. I mean, they're out there, and it happens all the time. So it all goes back to Evan Bourne smoking a little bit of pot, if that's what it turns out to be, versus...
I like how you throw in the adjective little bit, by the way. How do you know it was a little bit? He could be smoking ounces a day for all. We don't know what his levels were.
Right, and he could have also smoked 29 days ago, and they drug tested him, and he's been clean for the last 20
That's true, too. You don't know the difference is what my point is. You say he smoked a little bit of pot. You're trying to belittle what he did because you sympathize with it more as opposed to the other issue. Right. Which is not fair because you don't know the specifics.
Okay, so let's say it doesn't. It all comes down to the point I'm trying to make, dude. If you had to, and you know that 99% of these guys are hopped up on pills, prescription painkillers, as it is, dude. They're out there. They're working matches on these painkillers, right? Evan Bourne smokes a little bit of pot. I would much rather be in there with a guy that smoked a little or a lot of pot rather than a guy that has popped 40 or 50 painkillers throughout the day, then gets to Monday Night Raw and is in there just blurred out of his fucking mind, dude. I mean, give me a break, dude. The whole point of the story is, I mean, pot should be legalized, number one, and I'm not a big pot smoker, okay? But it should be legalized, and it should, I mean, give me a break, dude. You can make tons of money off this, and it seems to me like Evan Bourne is kind of, I mean, I understand it's company policy, but it's kind of unfair. I know. Company policy, this, that, and the other thing. The dude shouldn't be smoking. He knows that if I smoke weed, I'm going to be suspended for 60 days, and maybe he went and did it. Maybe he didn't. Maybe it's steroids. Maybe it's something else, right? We don't know what it is. But, I mean, give me a break. And for you, Punker in the chat, could I pass a wellness policy test? I could pass it with flying colors right now. A couple years ago, I couldn't say the same thing. So
30 days, you're good. You've had nothing but ice water and Jolly Ranchers.
In the last 30 days, the last time I smoked a little marijuana was probably about a month ago. So it'd be a close.
It'd be close.
It'd be a close.
If it was good weed, you might fail a little bit.
It'd be a close call, man. It'd be a close call. You know. So I mean.
So the answer to your question, Punker, is you're not a retard. It'd be a close call.
It'd be a close call, man.
There you go. It's just different answer altogether.
I don't know. I think marijuana, I mean, within the next, I don't know, 10, 15 years, right now, a couple of years ago, we never had, marijuana shops where people could go in and get a prescription for marijuana. And we've already surpassed that stage. And I think it's just going to continue from here where eventually it's going to become legalized and we won't have to worry about this. But I feel like, people that are if I were to go and work a match sober, being a sober guy, man, whether I had to work against somebody that was hopped up on 40, 50 painkillers throughout the day or a guy that smokes some pot, I'd go against the guy that smokes.
Where'd you get that number, by the way, 40 or 50? Where?
40 or 50 pills, dude?
You keep quoting that number. It's a little bit of pot, but it's 40 or 50 pills a day. It's not a little bit of pills. It's definitely 40 or 50 pills, and it's a little bit of pot.
Hey, let's say it's 2 pills, okay? Let's say it's 2, Vicodins or Oxys or something like that, dude. Give me a break, dude. It's still way worse than pot.
If you're a pillhead, you function better on pills than without them. If you're a pothead, you function better on pot than without it. There's no difference, really.
You know why that is, dude? I used to have my own problems years and years ago. You know this, bro. You know this. I used to have...
You talked about it on the air.
Talked about it on the air, dude. I used to have my own problems, and I thought every single day I could not roll out of bed because I needed something. I needed medicine, is what I like to call it. I needed medicine to get up out of the morning. And I thought, how the fuck am I ever... You go through about a 2 weeks...
Let me cut you off, because I got to correct Hoppert C in the chat. He says someone takes 40 or 50 pills a day, and they're dead. That's incorrect.
That's not true at all, man. They start out with 5 or 6 pills a day, and then a couple weeks later, you're at 15 pills a day. A couple weeks, so like Boone said, you build up a tolerance to prescription pain medication. So 50, 60 pills a day is not.
It could be as much as smoking one hit of a joint a week. If we're talking comparison to weed, it's amazing tolerance. What tolerance can do.
Right. It's just, you know what, dude, you go through, the problem is you don't want to go through that period of sickness where you're going to get sick, you're going to get sick, you got to go, through your own personal rehab, and that's what I wound up doing, and have been clean ever since for years, man, and it's just, I never thought that I could function without pills, you know what I mean, and then you get to a point where you say, damn, you look back on that and you say, god damn, man, you know what I mean, dude, it's fucked up.
Yeah, I mean, you look back on, I'm only drinking beers, those are legal, like, what if I was taking pills like you were, like, holy shit.
And there's another thing, okay, you say beer's legal, all right? Why is pot not legal but beers? I guarantee you that if you were to go out to a bar or you were to drive a car, if you were on pot versus beer, there would be a lot less fights at bars. There would be a lot less car accidents if you were on marijuana instead of beer. But yet beer is legalized and pot's not. Give me a break, dude. Pot, no.
If you're trying to figure that out, you'll drive yourself crazy. Believe me.
I mean,
it makes no sense. You're right. Alcohol alters people's moods. Like, I mean, pills do too. Weed does too. But like, it's very. You're not gonna get violent on weed. You're not gonna get violent on pills. There's a good chance you drink too much alcohol, you're going to get violent. You're going to forget you're not going to know what you're doing. Somebody
says it's easier to tax alcohol. It may be easier to tax alcohol, but right now, as it stands right now...
It's only easier to tax alcohol because alcohol is legal. That's retarded.
We're not taxing any pot right now because...
Yeah, because it's not legal.
It's not legalized.
You can't tax illegal shit, so yeah, that's stupid.
I bet if you made it legal, okay, if you went and you made it legal, you'd at least...
It would be the most taxed fucking item in the country.
But if you made it legal, I guarantee you'd be able to make a killing. You'd be able to make a ton of money off that. You know what I mean? So
yes.
It seems crazy to me. You know, it just goes back to this whole thing. I mean, would you rather be in there with somebody that was high in a ring or somebody that was drunk in a ring? Of course you'd rather wrestle by the guy that was high. You know what I mean?
Yes, that I agree with. Even though Sandman and Stone Cold and some other people are known to be, I would say you're correct on that one. I can't argue that one.
All right, real quick, dude. Let's run down these UFC stories, and then we'll take live phone calls. And you run down UFC. I'm gonna do a fan thing on Facebook. You can go to facebook.com/RyanClarkWZR, facebook.com/RyanClarkWZR. I'm gonna put up a thread right now. Whatever you guys want to talk about, just comment, ask questions, and I will read these off. You know, if you don't want to call up in a couple minutes. UFC
142 was this past Saturday. It was in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. The main event was Jose Aldo, one of the top pound-for-pound fighters. They call him Jose, I apologize. Tiffany hates how they say Jose. Was in Rio. She's distracting me still. They were in Rio de Janeiro, Brazil, and it was Jose Aldo versus Chad Mendes. Undefeated Chad Mendes. The guy's never lost a round in his entire MMA career, 11 fights up until this past Saturday. The fight ended by a knockout. Jose Aldo, it was Chad Mendes had Jose from behind, around the waist, looking for a takedown. Jose spun into him, and in one fluid motion, spun in, threw a knee. Chad ducked into the knee because he was diving in for the legs to try and take him down further. And in one quick motion, boom, knee, knockout. Jose Aldo remains champion. Chad Mendes is no longer undefeated. Were you going to say something, Ryan?
I was going to say, why are you yelling?
Am I yelling? I'm not. I'm saying I'm using the same volume I've been using.
Oh, it sounded like you were yelling.
But maybe when you take your headphones off, it sounds like I'm yelling. I don't know what to tell you.
I would love to take I'd love to take my headset off right now. I can't stand the sound of your ugly voice, dude.
All right, well, you'll be all right. The girls in the chat love my sexy ass voice. All right.
Yeah. Okay.
Inside voice Booner. Boone sounds clear to me. I can't read the chat. They're talking about me way too much right now. That's distracting.
Anyway.
All right. The other knockout of the night, Edson Barboza was fighting. Let me get my inside voice on. Edson Barboza. I gotta whisper. Edson Barboza was fighting Mike Macenzio. It was the pay-per-view opener. And Edson Barboza throws a spinning back kick to the face, something you would see Jean-Claude Van Damme or Steven Seagal do in a movie.
Yeah, I was sick.
And he landed the kick, and it knocked the motherfucker out. Before he even hit the ground, he was unconscious. He felt like a redwood tree that was chopped down. It was the most amazing thing you've ever seen. It was clearly the best knockout, the most exciting, invigorating knockout in the history of the company. It was insane.
He felt like a redwood tree that was knocked down. I like that.
It's radio, bro. You got to paint a picture. I'm over here using descriptions and shit. I'm drunk.
Good analogy, Boone. Good one. Good one.
It was a good analogy. All right. Vitor Belfort, Anthony Johnson's the third story we got to talk about.
Yes, sir.
Before the fight, here's the story. Anthony Johnson's a welterweight. He fought at 170, but he walked around when he wasn't fighting at like 230 pounds. So he would fight 60 pounds. Like, pretend you weigh what you weigh right now, but when you fought in a cage against other professional trained fighters, you would weigh 60 pounds less the day before the fight.
That's crazy.
Okay. I'm sorry?
It's crazy. It's just it's
insane.
And then, you know, he blamed it on being sick, blah 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 blah. By the way,
that was bullshit.
By the way, Punker in the chat, is it your birthday? Happy birthday.
It's somebody's birthday. I know that. They said they were spending it in the chat room, which Oh, that's rude to say. Never mind that.
No, go ahead, dude. I did a live video.
It's sad on so many levels to spend your birthday in a wrestling radio chat room. But anyway, happy birthday, man. I love you.
Listen, August 16th, 2011 was a Tuesday night, and we were here, dude. So I guess I'm a sad person, dude. Anyways.
You were here on your birthday?
We did a birthday show, Boone.
I don't remember that.
I even drank some beers with you on that night.
No shit. You should not be drinking and doing radio shows, Ryan. I think you got a problem.
Well, I've got a good excuse. It was the birthday. Come on, bro.
Oh, on your birthday you can get drunk on a Tuesday. According to you, you get drunk on weekends. That's fine. But the Tuesday, that's unheard of, and you did it. So you might want to look at yourself in the mirror and say, what the fuck am I doing?
I'll do that. And
I need to come to New York and give you a hug or something, bro, because you got problems.
I can also pass the current WWE wellness policy. I'm not sure you can say the same, so get the fuck.
No, I would fail miserably, bro. I think alcohol is allowed. Anyways, Anthony Johnson versus Vitor Belfort was this past Saturday night as well. Anthony Johnson, welterweight, 170. He walks around 230. On weigh-in day, which is 24 hours before the fight, he's got a weight. He was moving up in weight to middleweight, 185. The backstory, and you got to explain the backstory, is that he missed weight for 170 twice already. Yeah. And Dana White was pissed. I'm sorry, you're trying to talk?
No, there's so many other big stories in UFC. No, who cares?
That's a big story, man. It was this past weekend, and
old news, dude.
The semi-main event was almost canceled the day of the show. That's not worth talking about. And he got fired after the fight. That's not worth talking about.
Vitor beat him, dude. Vitor beat him.
He got fired. Not only did Vitor beat him, but I don't think we even talked about this. Did you watch the fight, right?
I watched the whole pay-per-view.
Did you notice that during that fight there was a lot of quick stand-ups when they would hit the ground?
Yeah, Mazzagatti.
Johnson would be on top. He would take him down. He'd be on top, and he'd be working him. And they would immediately stand it up. It was like it was known ahead of time. Hey, help fucking Vitor out if he's in trouble.
Mazzagatti came out today and said that he was not spoken to and that UFC officials never speak to him, and he had nothing to do with the stand-up. And they were quick stand-ups.
Really? They made a story out of that. I didn't even hear about this. Who said what? Who came out today?
Mazzagatti.
Oh, the referee. Okay. Well, yeah, Mazzagatti's a shitty ref, but wow. Okay. Yeah, wow. Because Dana White talked shit about Mazzagatti, so there couldn't have been an agreement beforehand if he was the ref. Right. But it seemed to me like they were standing it up way too. Even my brother Mike, who, as you know, is a little bit stupid, he was like sitting right here next to me, like, why are they standing him up? He just fucking took him down. He's hitting him, and they like in the middle of a submission attempt once they stood him up. And Mike looked at me and said, why the fuck did they stop it? Like, and I was like, dude, I think something fishy's going on here. It really felt weird. Anyways, to make a long story short, the guy missed weight by 12 pounds, and he was going up a weight class. So all he had to do was weigh 15 pounds more than he used to weigh in, and he couldn't even make that. He missed that by 11 pounds.
Right.
So after the fight, he lost. He got fired. They said, fuck this shit. He missed weight 3 times. He went up a weight class, still missed weight, missed it by more than he's ever missed it before, and it was 15 pounds heavier. Get the fuck out of our company. So that was UFC 142, Rio de Janeiro, Brazil. Good show. It's always the shows that look like shit on paper that turn out to be the best fights, too.
We were talking about...
Grab me one, Tiffany.
Grab me one, Tiffany. What? Grab you one what? Tit?
I was telling her to grab my dick. Here, thank you. Yeah, that's all. It was just my dick. Don't worry.
We'll wait for it. Go ahead.
Here's my zipper.
Do you think? Yeah, okay. That is. What's that, like number...
It's big, ain't it?
What's that?
Yeah, it is.
What's that, like 5 or 6?
During the show?
During tonight, 5 or 6?
I had 3 over here, 4. Hold on, that was hot. What were you doing? Oh, she's gonna give it dead air. She's not. She's too embarrassed to do it again. There was 3, 4, 5. Yeah, this is number 6 during the show.
Well, man.
That takes the count to 16, by the way, on the day.
16.
16.
And I saw you here at about noon today, so that's about the time.
No, I didn't start at noon. I started like 2:30, 3 o'clock.
Yeah, 2:30, 3 o'clock, bro. It's 9:42 at night on the East Coast, bro, and you're up to 16 fucking beers, dude.
That's all that is. I was thirsty.
Drink soda, Pepsi, something.
I got a Coke here, too, by the way. Here, listen.
Man,
that's a Coca-Cola I just banged on the table.
You know what I've been thinking the last couple weeks, dude?
It's still full, too. I took like 1 sip and switched to beer. But you were thinking what the last week?
You know what I was thinking last week, dude? I was thinking I'm going to have to come on. I'm going to wake up one morning, and I'm gonna get a phone call, and I'm going to fucking bawl my eyes out there. I'm going to bawl.
I'm dead. I don't want to hear that. That's a fucked up thing to say.
It's a fucked up thing to say, dude, but you're on a path. You're on a path to...
I'm on a path to dying because I like 16 beers?
Well, yeah, listen, dude, we were talking about prescription painkillers earlier, dude.
That would kill you, and I don't do pills, as you know. I drink 16 beers instead.
I'm just saying, I don't want to have to come on here on a Tuesday night and bawl my fucking eyes out to these people in the chat room. God damn, man, you know what I mean? I mean, come on, dude. You know what I'm saying, bro? I love you, man. I love you, dude. I don't want to do this on live radio. You know that, dude. But
Good radio's honest radio, brother. You bring it up and bring it out.
yeah, no, I know. I wish you're just a hard-headed son of a bitch, dude. We talked this past week. We talked.
We had a conversation or two, yeah.
You are a hard-headed son of a bitch, and it's very hard to change your mindset, dude. So,
I have an unbelievable ability not to give a fuck about certain things.
about certain
And
things you should give a fuck about. I'm just saying, dude.
I probably should. I don't.
And you-
By the way, in the background, we got big-ass fucking gorgeous titties over here talking about this. Do they know that she drinks pretty much exactly what I drink, if not more?
Sure she does. I'm sure she does, and I feel bad for her, too.
You realize she was drunk as shit when she was on the air, and you didn't hear her, by the way, anybody listening. It was so good, too. God damn it. But, yeah, she was smashed.
Get the fuck out of here. Anyways, so...
Callers.
No, a couple more UFC, dude. Run down the big stories real quick. We had UFC 145 basically postponed. They're going to move those fights over to the show in Atlanta, right? UFC 146 is going to become UFC 145. That's
We got to talk about the UFC on Fox thing. We didn't even bring that up. You do it, because you know the story. You can do it quicker than me. I'll probably babble because I'm a big MMA fan.
Munoz, he was injured. Dana White came out and issued a tweet today and said that it's going to be Chael Sonnen against
Chael, yes.
Chael Sonnen against Michael Bisping, and then the winner of that fight is going to go on to face Anderson Silva, and that's the fight that pretty much everybody's wanted to see anyways. Nobody really wanted to see this Munoz fight, and he was injured, so they went with the original plan, and hopefully what everybody's hoping for, obviously, is that Chael Sonnen defeats Michael Bisping, because everybody wants to see...
He's going to kill Michael Bisping.
Yeah, everybody wants to see the Chael Sonnen versus...
he might not have beat Mark Munoz, by the way.
Yeah, but...
They both wrestled in college, and Munoz beat him every time they wrestled.
You know,
and Sonnen is a winner because of his wrestling. Bisping is weak in one area.
This is
wrestling.
This is this weekend, right?
No. This weekend's UFC on FX. It's Jim Miller versus Melvin Gillard. Next weekend is the UFC on Fox, and that's the first real UFC on Fox show. Because the first one was kind of like a test show. They did one fight, lasted 60 seconds.
Right.
This one's a 3-fight show. Oh, well, actually, if it's a 3-fight show, I don't know what the third fight is anymore because Bisping versus Damian Maia was going to be the third fight. But it's going to be multiple fights. So it's the first real show.
Let me say this. You're going to call me crazy, dude. There are two people in UFC that I just do not like. One being Kenny Florian. Okay.
Really?
I know,
Why?
I know. Well, I don't like him. I think he's got the nerd look. You know what I mean? He's just a nerd.
I used to think the same. Like people would say he's going to be a contender for the title. And I was like, he can't beat top guys. And then he started beating top guys, and I was like, no shit, he's the real deal. He just looked like a bitch. I was like, I can kick his ass, you know?
No doubt, respect. All right, I got respect for Kenny Florian. I just don't like him. I just
I guess I get that. Okay.
As a fighter, I don't like him. The other guy is Michael Bisping, and you are gonna go off on me for saying this.
He's the biggest heel in the company, probably. Him or Chael Sonnen. Yeah, it's gonna be a great build-up. It's gonna be entertaining video packages and shit.
I may change my mind. All right, I may change my mind. And I can't stand the guy, so I can't believe I'm about to say this. Bisping over Sonnen, bro.
You're going to pick Bisping over Sonnen?
I'm going to pick Bisping over Sonnen.
Why don't we make a bet live on the radio, because you'll never backtrack when you do stuff on the air.
Right.
Name a price. $1,000. Let's bet that amount on Sonnen Bisping right now.
I'll do you... We're not going 1,000. Come on, let's be realistic.
Let's do 100.
All right, I'll do that.
You're going to do $100.
I'll do $100.
Everybody in the chat room just heard it, right?
You heard it. I'll do 100.
Okay, $100. I got Sonnen, you got Bisping. That's the greatest bet I've ever made in my fucking life. I can't believe you just did that.
I'll do Bisping. Oof. And I can't.
You're gonna yell at me as soon as we get off air too. It's gonna be great, but you agreed to it.
I think you know what, dude. I think
you're amazingly wrong, dude. I wish I could almost like step out of my skin and like forget about the fact that I like money and be like, Ryan, don't do it, man. Don't do it. Do it.
No, listen.
Do it.
Wait a minute. It's a fight, bro. It's a fight. Two guys go in.
Anything can happen.
Anything
You're right.
can happen, right? Spinning kick, one punch knockout. Anything can happen. It's a fight.
You do realize Sonnen kicked Anderson Silva's ass for 5 rounds and Silva got lucky with a triangle because Sonnen sucked at submissions. And he's fighting Michael Bisping.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah.
His strength is stand-up, Michael Bisping. He's not known for jiu-jitsu. He's known for stand-up. And his stand-up's nowhere near as good as Anderson Silva's. And Sonnen knocked Silva on his ass like 3 times. didn't get hit once and was taking him down at will and beating his ass.
We'll see.
You just made the worst bet of your life, and I'm taking $100 of your dollars.
We will see. Here we go. Live.
Couldn't be more sure.
Live phone calls. Caller, you're live on WZR Radio. What's going on?
What's up, guys?
What's up?
It's going good. How are you?
I'm doing all right. Hey, I want to keep going with the UFC talk. Hey, how do you guys feel about Vince McMahon not letting CM Punk attend the UFC live event?
Great question.
Yeah.
Ryan, I'll let you take it because you got some insight into this.
I love this. That's a good transition. You see what I'm saying, dude? We're
Perfect. It's like in the middle of the road and shit. It's beautiful.
It's right in the middle of the road where we're trying to transition out of UFC into pro.
It's a beautiful segue, yes.
It brings up Sia. It's a beautiful segue. God, that was amazing.
Good caller. Best caller of the year so far.
That's caller of the
I
year.
think it was a first-time caller, too, if I'm not mistaken. I've never heard that voice.
Caller of the year on January 17th.
Hey, now.
17 days into the year. That's, I don't know. We'll see how long.
Crazy.
Anyways, until Jackie calls. Anyway, so CM Punk, right? They had an agreement that CM Punk was going to appear with Chael Sonnen at the UFC on Fox show. And, of course, I mean, listen, it's Fox. It's a big show, right? Phil Davis, Rashad Evans, I guess it's kind of big. But they're hyping it up. You saw previews on the NFL games. They're starting to do the video hype and promote the main events and things like that. Listen, it's press. And I mean, Vince could probably work out a deal with UFC where Mike Goldberg or Joe Rogan could say something like, hey, look, that's CM Punk in the corner of Chael Sonnen. And I guess, last week, Vince being in just one of those moods said, I'm not letting this happen. And it may go deeper than that. Obviously, Lesnar's done with UFC, and I am guessing that there are contract talks, or at least some talks, that have gone on between Dana White and Vince McMahon, possibly about Brock Lesnar coming back to WWE. Could have something to do with that, where negotiations aren't going all that well. So Vince says,
listen, we're going to see Undertaker versus Brock Lesnar at WrestleMania before we die. That's going to happen.
Not this year.
Not this year, but before we die, that's going to happen.
Right. But I mean, there could be more to the story. There may be a backstory to this that involves Lesnar, or something that happened in the past with Lesnar Taker, something like that in UFC, or maybe UFC didn't agree to.
Let me interrupt you.
What?
You got a lot to say still, I can tell, and then you're probably going to take another caller immediately afterwards, right? Because I don't think I can make it 11 minutes without taking a piss.
Okay.
So, anyways, CM Punk got taken off the UFC on Fox show. What do you think, Ryan?
Is that your cue to go take a piss?
I'll be right back.
Matt Boone!
Hey now, I'll be right back.
All right, man. Get to our live chat room, WZROnline.com/chat. See what I deal with every Tuesday night, man. See what I fucking deal with? I love the dude to death, though, man. Hopefully he gets better. Anyways, WZROnline.com/chat. Once again, WZROnline.com/chat. I mean, listen, it's a deal with, to pull CM Punk. It just seems crazy. But there may be more to the story than what is actually out there. So we're going to have to wait for more details. But as it stands right now, on the surface, it seems crazy where CM Punk could appear on a Fox show and WWE chooses to pull him, off the card. So we'll see what happens. Callie, what's going on, man? Callie. Lost you, brother. All right, we'll take another live phone call. Caller, you're live on WZR Radio. What's going on? Caller hung up on me. What's going on? What's the matter with you guys tonight? Caller, Callie, what's up, man?
Yeah, well,
What's up, man?
hey, two quick questions. The first one about MMA. With what you've seen from Bobby Lashley, do you see him ever sticking with MMA or going back to wrestling? That's the first question. And the second one is with the Royal Rumble coming up. Do you see any wrestlers, like maybe RVD or the Dudley Boys or anything like that, being surprises in the Royal Rumble this year? What?
All right, here's the deal. As of right now, there are no outside names planned for the Royal Rumble. No outside contracted talent. It would all be WWE contracted talent. Obviously, there's a couple weeks to go, but as of right now, no big surprises planned. Pretty much everybody that is there under contract with WWE is scheduled to be in the Royal Rumble. So we'll see what happens. Obviously, anything can change, but as of right now, no surprises. We'll see what I mean. Randy Orton possibly coming back for the Royal Rumble pay-per-view. Unless he appears on Raw next week. We'll see what happens with that. And then, Boone, are you back? Bobby Lashley.
Yes, sir.
Bobby Lashley returned to pro wrestling, man. What do you think?
What company?
Any company. Pro wrestling return.
Oh, if he does. I mean, I don't. What do you mean? What do I think? I mean, he was never like the worker of the year. He was never the promo of the year. He was a guy that had a good look, and that was pretty much it. So he's going to be the same thing he always was. It's not like he went and built. It's not like Brock Lesnar returning to wrestling. Brock Lesnar comes back. He's away. Even though he was a big deal, the next big thing before he left, he's an even bigger thing if he comes back. And somebody's interrupted the shit out of me. Caller, don't be rude. I'll smack you. Anyways, Bobby Lashley, he was never a big deal on MMA on any level. So coming back, he's going to be exactly as valuable as he was before he left. Caller, you're on the air. What's up?
Hi, what do you guys think about the tag team division? I honestly feel the tag team division is really poor in the WWE.
It has been for the last how many years?
Put it this way, you can switch the title at a house show and nobody really gives a shit if we're being honest. So that's how important the tag division is. If they switch if we woke up today and CM Punk was no longer champion because they dropped the title at a house show, wouldn't that be a big deal? The tag title thing, let's be honest. Was that a big deal? No, it wasn't a big deal.
No, nobody could give a fuck about the tag team. Like Boone said, they did the title change at a live event, obviously for reasons that we found out today, but still a fact with tag team titles. I mean, come on. They haven't been defended, I mean, with Evan Bourne out, the first suspension, and then the fact that they didn't take the tag team titles off of them when he was suspended for 30 days, so we had no tag team titles for 30 days on TV, so they don't...
And you didn't even notice.
You didn't even notice. Nobody had any idea, you know? Hello! Jackie?
Jackie!
Hey, what's up?
Hi.
Hi.
Yes?
Hi.
Yes?
Okay, what was the deal with Jericho walking out last night? Two of my friends asked me that today, and I'm like, I have no clue.
Did those two same friends see the previous 2 weeks of Jericho?
Yeah, my friend Will...
And they really asked the question, why did he walk out? Like, obviously he walked out because he's not going to talk.
Because I was watching, Punk was going to attack him, and he jumped off the apron. I'm like, what are you doing? Go in there and fight. It's your first...
It's a gradual heel turn, honeycakes. He's being a bad guy without being a bad guy. That's the whole point of his gimmick right now. He's a bad guy that isn't being a bad... He's being a bad guy because the crowd's eventually going to not like him. But he's not doing things to make him not like him. He's doing things over the top to make the crowd like him, but eventually they're not going to like him because he's going so far over the top. Same deal last night. He's being an overly good guy, but eventually the crowd's going to despise him for it. And he knows it's fucking creative as shit. That's what I was trying to explain to some people last night.
Let me put it to you like this, Jackie, all right? We've seen Chris Jericho for years and years and years as a wrestler, right? And he comes back, and it's a huge deal at first. Oh, my God, Chris Jericho's back in WWE. Holy shit, right? And then, as the weeks go on, and he wrestles matches here and there, he turns into just another guy, right? It's Chris Jericho. He's in a match. It's like Wade Barrett coming out for a match. You know what I mean? He's just another guy on the Raw roster.
Same old shit.
Same old shit. So you take a guy that we've already seen wrestle thousands of times on weekly television, and you say, you know what? We're going to slowly build to a match. And as soon as he has that match, Jericho's back. And then when you continue to tune into Raw week after week, it's just going to be, it's Jericho in a match. You know, it's going to be the same old shit like Boone said. So
now you said something, dude, because you're exactly right, and I'll take it from there. Every week he tunes in. At this point, you're like, I hope he talks this week. Oh, what's he going to do this week? What's going to be... Obviously, he's not going to... Like, let's say we can assume he's not even going to talk this week. Well, he can't just do the same thing he did last week, but he's not talking, so what can he do different this week? And last night we realized not only is he not talking, he's not wrestling. So what the fuck else can he do other than what he's already done? Next week we're going to tune in. We're going to see, he's got to do something, but he's not going to talk. He's not going to wrestle. So what the fuck is he going to do? He cried. He did the crowd cheer thing. He did the smiley baby face thing. Okay, what else is there without talking or wrestling? What the fuck else can he do? It's creative as hell. It's the most creative thing ever.
And
I would say.
it's got you calling a radio show asking why.
Exactly.
You know why? You know why? Because it's got you interested. You're asking questions.
You're
saying,
scratching your head. You're wondering what the fuck is he doing? Exactly. Which is what you're supposed to be. That's the reaction he's looking for.
And they're not rushing. It's a change in pace where they're not rushing a storyline, and it's keeping people interested.
Here's what it is. You want to know what it is? It's a wrestler coming up with his own gimmick, not a writer telling him what to do. He is saying, let me do this, and because of that, you can see it's different from it stands out from the pack. It's different than everything else because it's not the same scripted bullshit. It's a guy that has enough clout because he's a big name that he says, I'm going to do this. Let me do this. I'll come back, but let me do this. And they say, okay, do that.
Well, and then he comes back, and he has that first match. Let's say he wins the Royal Rumble or something like that, right? Or he has a first match. And then the following Raw, you're going to have, a Chris Jericho versus, I don't know, who's a heel on Raw? Zack Ryder's not a heel, but just a Wade Barrett. It's going to, or, no, actually it'd be a face because Chris Jericho's going to be a heel in the end. So it'd be Chris Jericho.
John Cena.
Right.
CM Punk.
Yeah. Chris Jericho versus Zack Ryder. Chris Jericho versus CM Punk. And it's going to people aren't going to care. It's like, oh, Jericho's back on Raw every week. He's doing matches, blah, 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 blah. It's going to be the same old Jericho. So just let it play out. I mean, there's no reason to rush it because as soon as he has that match, it's the same old shit. You're going to get tired of Jericho. It's like, oh, wow, he's back. Who cares? It's like anybody else,
Exactly. He's probably going to have a match with Punk at WrestleMania anyway. Or Triple H. My money's on Triple H.
Exactly, Jackie. Exactly.
Exactly, Jackie. That rhymes.
All right.
Kind of-ish, sort of.
Yeah, and I'm getting a little tired of Laurinaitis' hair. I'm getting tired of his mouth.
You're getting tired? Whose mouth?
I'm getting tired of John Laurinaitis. I'm getting sick of him